The other day when I done first impressions on Halloween Man Mystery, I said that it reminded me of a fragrance that was in my collection. And I had a couple of people comment and say, can you let us know which fragrance it does remind you of? So this is for you lot out there, if you're wondering what this reminds me of. Not exact, not a clone of, but reminds me of, in the same vein of. Stay tuned to find out. Good YouTube, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. That is right, today I'm here to give you a quick update review on Halloween Man Mystery. Right, I had a couple of comments saying which fragrance did it remind you of, because I said that this reminded me of something that I've smelt before and something that I own. And like I said, I had a couple of comments and there's a few people saying, can you let us know which fragrance it reminded you of? So this is why I'm doing this video, this review. I've only worn this properly for a day and a bit. So I'm not going to go into longevity and all that. But so, right, the mission started. And I'm going to apologise if this gets confusing, because it's a little confusing to me. So I'm going to try and do my best to explain this, and sometimes I'm not very good at doing that, but I'm going to give it my shot, give it my best shot. When I sprayed Halloween Man Mystery on, it reminded me of something. I'm going through my fragrances and I'm thinking, no, it's not that, and I'm smelling loads of my fragrances, spraying them up in the air, spraying them on bits of paper, and I narrowed it down. Right, let's take a step back. I done a review on a fragrance called Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir from the House of Armath. And I said that to me, this fragrance smells like a mixture of Dior Sauvage EDT and Afnan's Supremacy Not Only Intense. This fragrance reminded me of these two fragrances. Now, Halloween Man Mystery reminds me of this fragrance with a little bit of Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male thrown in. You know, this has that fruity facet, that sweet fruity facet. I get a little bit of that in this fragrance. So Halloween Man Mystery reminds me of these two. Just a little dabbing of Ultra Male with this. The openings are different, but as it's drying down, Halloween Man Mystery opens up fresh, a little bit spicy, semi-sweet, a little bit aromatic. Once you get into the mid, sort of that spicy nuance amps up a little bit more, and then this fruity facet pushes its way through near to the front of the fragrance. And as this dries down, this fragrance, it goes from being fresh spicy to warm spicy, and I think it's the patchouli. Right, let me read you the notes. You got black pepper, lavender, mandarin, hazelnut, Egyptian geranium, Cosmo fruit molecules, patchouli, patchouli extract, and vetiver. So like I say, when this warms up, once you get into the mid, it starts warming up. I think it's the patchouli adding the warmth, a little bit of depth and structure, plus it adds a little bit of sweetness. Right, we all know that Ultra Male from Jean Paul Gaultier is a very sweet fragrance. This isn't as sweet as this, but the fruity side of this, I kind of pick it up in this fragrance. And the lavender in this, nearly after a couple of minutes, comes to the front, which reminds me of this fragrance. But this also has a little bit of a fruity, sort of earthy nuance going on, and that is what I get in this. So I know it's confusing, and I'm not saying that this is meant to be a clone, because it doesn't smell exactly like any of these. But with a few of these, if they were mixed together, it reminds me of Halloween Man Mystery. That is what it was reminding me of. Mostly it reminds me of this, especially when they both start drying down. Like the openings of these are completely different. But when you get into the dry down of this, and you get into the dry down of this, or in the mid of this, reminds me a lot of the dry down of this fragrance, Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir from the House of Armath. So that is what I'll come up with. If you're sitting there and you're calling me mad, I don't blame you. But I went through so many fragrances yesterday, and I was trying to do my best to find out what it reminded me of. And that is what I come up with. It was a hard day's work, to say the least. Right, people, let me know if you've tried this fragrance. I know it's a new release, so maybe a lot of you haven't tried it. But if you haven't and you're interested in it, it does remind me of this fragrance with a touch of this. Unless my nose is broken and it doesn't work and I'm going nutty, that is what this fragrance reminds me of. Not exactly, but it's in that same vein. I get them vibes. I get the lavender. I get the fruity nuance in this fragrance, which comes from them, or kind of comes from them. Right, people, thank you for sticking with me. I tried to explain it the best that I could. Remember, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore, and I will see you lot on the next one. Cheers.